Hey guys, Jack here, and World Cup final is just tomorrow, so I want to kind of give you my preview of the game, what I think is going to happen between France and Argentina, and see who comes out on top. Will it be Mbappe winning his second World Cup, before the age of 24, or is it Messi who breaks Lothar Matthäus's all-time appearance record and kind of solidifies probably to the doubters if he is the greatest of all time? Let's jump into it. These are the potential lineups I think could come up tomorrow at 3 o'clock of GMT time. That's it. So I have the recent goals who's been great for them. I've put Theo Hernandez on the left, Varane on left centre back, and Konate on the right centre back. While Upamecano was out ill in their semi-final clash against Morocco, I think Konate, when he's featured, has been really good. I think he was arguably one of their best players against Morocco. Upamecano hasn't been terrible. He has, but I think he's been one of their worst performers of the World Cup because he just acts very rash, and I don't think you should be doing that, especially when you're coming up against the likes of Messi and Alvarez. You need someone a bit more composed, and I think Konate has that. I have Koundé then, right back, midfield trio of Tchouaméni, Rabiot, who should be back from illness, and Griezmann as kind of a floater. And he's been arguably one of the best players of the tournament. Just drifting into space, help, and then linking play from attack, from midfield to attack. And my front three has been their front three for the entire tournament: Dembele, Mbappe, and Giroud. And I know the rumours that Benzema could potentially feature. I think if Deschamps does that, it just shows I know loyalty shouldn't be a factor, but Giroud has proven that he's been excellent. I mean, he's I think 4th top goal scorer for the tournament. And I think you need to have that. You need to have his he links with Dembele and Mbappe so well, even Griezmann. So I think having him as the focal point is important, especially when you come up against kind of a slighter, should we say, defensive, line. You want to have someone big and tall to lump crosses in if needs be. And in terms of Argentina, I'm setting them up here in a 4-4-2 because I think that'll help counteract the front three here. So I have Emiliano Martinez in net, who's been solid, great penalties I think in the match against the Netherlands. Then Medina, who should be back from suspension. Molina played well against Morocco, but I think Scaloni is going to go with his trusted man here. Then we have Romero and Otamendi, who were excellent for that game against Morocco, defensively sound, and Acuna ahead of Tagliafico, who again, solid game, but I think Acuna offers a lot more, especially physically. And when you're coming up against Dembele, you're going to need that pace, that power to try to deter him. And then midfield 4 of Di Maria, and I know Paredes started the last game in place of DePaul, and DePaul was out on this right hand side. I think Di Maria is going to be able to unlock this defense, and I think that's going to be key to Argentina getting a goal. DePaul, obviously, and then Enzo Fernandez, who's been excellent for this tournament, considering that he wasn't the first man on the team sheet, but obviously with Scaloni changing the attacks after their loss to Saudi Arabia, he's been featuring ever since and been pivotal. And I think McAllister as well is going to need to help with Dembele on this side. But I could also see McAllister and Di Maria switching ever so often, just to, obviously, if they notice that, should we say, Mbappe's is just getting beyond Medina a few times, they might switch, or even DePaul might switch out for Di Maria. I think it's going to be a lot of rotation in this midfield. And the front two, I think it's just self-explanatory. Alvarez, again, one of the other top goal scorers, who only started the last game, starting Argentina's games when in the last group stage game, and you can see why he just seems to work a lot better with Messi. And I think that's important, and I think his directness and his ability to carry the ball, his movement, has allowed him to get so many goals. And obviously Messi is going to start, there's no doubt about it. So in terms of this game, what I believe is going to happen is it's going to be 10 versus 10 because Mbappe is not going to defend for France, and likewise with Messi. But I think it's going to be interesting to see who can get the best out of their individual talent. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see how they get on. I mean, both teams have seen success in not maintaining possession. And you look at these two teams and you can say that both of them could play it. But you've noticed during this World Cup that possession doesn't mean anything. As long as you're defensively sound and you're efficient with your attacks, you're going to get goals. And I think that's going to be it. It's going to be it's going to be each team trying to give each other the ball. And like France have been very effective at that. I mean, they did that against Morocco and they did that against England, and they managed to quell the attacks. Granted, England got at them and could have, and obviously penalty miss away from drawing and going into extra time. But we saw how France got a result in the end of that, and you probably would have favored them to do so. While with Argentina, they took a while to kind of get into it, and they weren't defensively sound until against Croatia, but you have to give them credit. I mean, they nullified them. But I think, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how they do here. It's going to be a very tense game, I think, because both, again, as I said, both teams don't want the ball, but they're going to try to break whenever they can. And we noticed against Croatia, like Argentina here, pushed a high line. So if someone, let's say we say Tchouaméni here was Modric or Kovacic, they swarmed them and then won the ball back, and they were to break on the counter. And I think it's going to be important to be that efficient with it. And we saw as well how like Morocco got at France. They made a game out of it, but they just were unfortunate not to get more from it. And I think it's going to be pivotal to France that they keep tight, because I think with Theo Hernandez and Mbappe on this side, Rabiot is going to be very busy. And if you have Di Maria and Messi, should we say, going into this space, France going to be tested a lot. I think Griezmann, who's been great with his movement, is going to also have to contribute defensively. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I think the wings are going to be kind of pivotal to France in order to progress the play. So I think Acuna, McAllister, Di Maria and Medina are going to be very busy. But I think as well, like if these two, Alvarez and Messi, drift into these pockets of space where they're going to be left by particularly these two, I think they can get a bit of joy from that. I could potentially see Enzo Fernandez here leaving, being a bit swarmed. So maybe, at half time they might realize that they're getting swarmed, so they might, make it a 4-3-3, add another midfielder. So it's going to be a huge tactical battle between Scaloni and Deschamps. But you have to kind of give credit to Didier Deschamps that he got them this far, and he's it's his second World Cup final, and he could be the one of, I think, like 2 or 3 players who've won it twice, and I think played in it. So it's going to be very fascinating to see. So what do I think how it's going to end? I could see this being a draw going into extra time. I think it'll be 1-1. My feeling is that France are going to get a goal in the first. They're going to get the first goal. It's going to be a Giroud header, or it's going to be him in the box from a set piece. I think that's what's going to happen. But then Argentina have the capability. They have enough quality to put pressure on this French defense. And while they've been very good at quelling attacks, I think Messi could come up with a moment of magic. And so I think it'll be a draw going into extra time. My head says France are going to win this, but my heart says Messi is going to do something in extra time and going to get him a goal. I hope I'm right, because I think a lot of fans are thinking, France, some people want France to win, and more people want Messi to win more than Argentina want to win. A lot of neutrals, and I think I'm in that boat. But I hope it is a good game. I also hope that a goalkeeper scores or something. That's always my that's always a fantasy of mine, because I watched Alisson's goal for Liverpool against West Brom, that header. I think I lost my mind when that happened. But yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. 1-1, full time, extra time. Messi grabs the winner. He lifts the coveted World Cup trophy, and that, I think he solidifies to Argentinian fans that he is potentially the greatest of all time. So yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. I know Morocco versus Croatia is on later today as I'm recording this. For me, I think Morocco's going to win 2-0. That's my guess. But in terms of this World Cup final, I'm looking forward to it, and I hope that it is an entertaining game. It's a good game for everyone, and we get to see two of the best nations. I know they've both been not the most pleasant to watch, but you can't argue they've been two of the better, nations to be playing, and I'm looking forward to it. We'll probably find out, will Messi, solidify himself as the greatest of all time, and if Mbappe is his next of heir. I hope it's a good game. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked the video, obviously like it, subscribe if you're new. I'll be posting more content around the Premier League as it's coming back on Boxing Day, St. Stephen's Day. Insert other names there. But yeah, that's going to be it for me today. I'll be back with the review of the final. So thank you very much for watching. Until next time, take care.